Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Powkiddy A19 handheld. As you can see above, it runs on a 1.3 GHz Cortex A7 4-core processor. It has 512 megabytes of RAM. It runs on a version of Android. It has a 3.5-inch IPS screen with a resolution of 640 by 480, and it has a 4000 milliamp battery with approximately 68 hours of power. So what do you get in the box? Well, to be honest, not a great deal. You get the console, obviously, and you also get the charging cable. Other than that, there's not a great deal inside the box. No instruction manual or anything like that. It comes in 3 different colours: white, blue and a yellowy orange colour. It's made of plastic and it doesn't quite have that premium build. It feels very light in the hand, but it's okay. You have the on-off switch on the side and a green LED, which I'll be quite honest is quite bright and distracting, more so on night time. The overall quality of the screen is absolutely fantastic. This is probably one of the main features that I love on the A19. It's so sharp and bright. Unfortunately, you can't see it as well as I would like you to see it on the video, but believe me, you won't be disappointed with the quality of the screen. It's excellent. As I mentioned earlier, there is a little bit of light bleed. You can see that underneath the right hand side of the screen, and it is quite bright if you use the A19 in a darkened room. However, like I said, also the quality of the screen is absolutely pin sharp. It's excellent. It just, for me, it just doesn't have that premium feel, which is a bit of a letdown. Below the screen you have your buttons. You have the usual A, B, C and D. You also have your X and Y. Underneath those you have your home, select and start buttons, as well as your speaker. Sound quality is fairly decent for this size of handheld. And then to the left of those you have your D-pad, your traditional D-pad, and also your rocker joystick. Most disappointing bit, which might put a lot of people off, is the fact that the joystick and the D-pad are not independent from each other. So if you are playing a game which requires independent access to both of those controls, I'm afraid you're going to miss out, and it may make some games unplayable. Both control methods are very responsive and have a very good feel to them, both the joystick and the D-pad. The D-pad is much better than the original A19, which had the flat disc. It's been redesigned, and that's how you know this is the second generation. Just very nice nice clicky feel to it. No issues whatsoever with the controls, other than they aren't independent from each other, which is a big downer. Which I'm very surprised they didn't put right with the second generation of this handheld. Anyone who has used the Pandora boxes in the past will be very familiar with the interface. You have the usual 4 tabs going across the top: the all, category, recent and search. And then when you choose which tab you want, you scroll down to go through the list of games. I don't think many people will use the all category, to be honest with you, as it will list every single game that's on the system and you have to scroll through them all. There are far too many games for you to do it that way. It would be much easier just to use the category, recent, and also the search tab makes a return. That will be the easiest way to find a particular game. You just type in the letter, and as you type in the letter for the word of the game that you want, the games on the left hand side will change to correspond to that letter that's been inputted. It's a very fast and easy way to find a game that you want. The save state also makes a return. Just press the home button and you can either continue the game, exit the game, save the data or load it. Really handy if you get sick of playing the game and you want to come out but don't want to lose where you were. You just come back to it again and then reload the data up and you're straight back into the game. The A19 can play a good selection of emulators, just don't expect it to play every single emulator that you get on the more powerful handhelds, like the RG351P. And some of those emulators and games won't run fantastic. I'll be quite honest with you. I did try playing some of the PSP stuff like Tekken 6, and as you'll see later on in the video, they didn't play too good. However, the majority of the other emulators, like your Mega Drives, your MAME, your Final Burn, and so on, play absolutely spot on. What I tended to find was the 3D games struggled a little bit compared to other handhelds, but your 2D games ran absolutely spot on. There was no issues with those. The button layout can sometimes be hit and miss with some of the emulators and some of the games. However, luckily you can change the button layouts for individual games, and you can also connect a controller, Bluetooth controller. So as you can see here, I'm connecting the Xbox One controller. It's very simple to do. I'll remove the bond because I already had this one connected. So you just remove the bond there, and then you just go into your Bluetooth, go into controllers, and it will list all of the controllers that it can see. And then it's just a matter of pressing A, and you will see, there you go, it's connected straight away to my gamepad. And the gamepad works absolutely flawlessly, no lag whatsoever. So I'm just going to show you some gameplay now. This is just using the Bluetooth controller. As you can see, I'm not touching the A19 at all, just for those people who may doubt that it actually does work well with a controller. It works exactly the same way as though you were using the buttons on the handheld. However, the good thing is you can also change the button settings on the controller as well for individual games. So if a game's not running too good with a certain layout, just go into the settings and you can change that button layout how you want it, and it's so much easier to do. So this is me going into a driving game now. I noticed absolutely no lag whatsoever with the controller. It was very precise. And it actually worked really, really well, and much better than what I was expecting. And to be fair, if you are going to connect the A19 up to a TV, because it does have HDMI out on it, this is an ideal way to play. Hook it up to your TV, get your controller out, and play away as though you were using just a normal hand console, game console, sorry. But yeah, as you can see, it works absolutely spot on. I've got no problems driving the vehicle, and input lag was non-existent on this particular game. As I mentioned earlier, you can also map the buttons on the controller. You have to do this for individual games. So it's as simple as going into edit key combinations within the menu settings, and then you will choose the particular game that you want to change the mapping of the buttons. So I'll just choose one of these games here, and I'll show you how you can remap the buttons to it. It's quite simple to do. So you just go into the system settings, you choose the game, and then you go into this setting, and it will bring up all of the keys for the controller, and then you just go into each button and you remap it to the button that you want it to be, and you do that for each and every one of the buttons on the controller. It's very simple and very easy and quite fast to do. Like I said before, the only downfall is you have to do this for every individual game that you want to change. You can't remap the buttons and that'll cover every single game and every single emulator. But it doesn't take too long to do. It's just a little bit of a faff on to start with. So I know one of my readers had mentioned about Final Fight, the controls being all over the place. So I actually remapped the buttons on here, and as you can see, the C button is for punch and the D button is for kick. And what I will do is I will come out of that and I will remap the buttons so that the C button is kick and the D button is punch. So it's the opposite way around, and just to show that it is possible to change and remap the buttons for the games. So you just go into that setting and then I'll remap the buttons. So these are the key settings that are already in, so I'm going to reassign these. So it's as simple as choosing the button that you want to change. So in this case I've chosen the D and I've changed that to the C button. I did the same with the C button, I changed that to the D. And now if we go back into the game, just find it there, you will find that when I press the buttons, the mapping has worked and the buttons are the other way around. So as you can see, C is now kick button and the D is now the punch button, whereas it was the other way around prior to doing the remapping. And like I said, you can basically do this with any game that you want, and you just save it, and then when you go back into that game, it'll have saved it for that game. Somebody asked me how the N64 ran on the A19, and to be quite honest, I'm quite surprised. Super Mario really runs very, very well compared to some of the other handhelds that I've used in the past. It's not going to be perfect because you are missing some of the buttons because of the way they have the D-pad and the joystick working as one. But graphically, it is really, really good. I noticed very few glitches on the A19 when playing this game. I'm actually using the game controller to try this, and as you can see, graphically it's running very, very well. There are no artifacts, no breakup, screen tearing or anything like that. There's a little bit over there in where the door is, but overall, considering that it's not as powerful as the other handhelds, it is running really, really well. Got absolutely no concerns with it, and you may not be able to see it too well on the video, but the actual image quality is superb on this handheld. The 3.5 inch screen, HD screen, really is a marvel. It really does look that good. In fact, I would go as far to say it actually looks better than the RG 351p when it comes to how sharp and bright the colours are on screen. It just runs very, very smoothly. As you can see, there's very little breakup image quality. There's very little screen tearing. For something that only has 512 megabytes of RAM, I'm very surprised it runs this well, to be honest with you. I'll take you back outside and you can see exactly what it's like in the open. As you can see, just very, very smooth. It's not going to be absolutely perfect when you consider what it's playing on, but it's very, very playable. Very playable indeed. Like I say, the controls aren't perfect. I didn't actually remap the buttons for this game. I'm just playing it as it would be if you were using it the way it's set up. The controls aren't great, but I'm sure if I were to go into it and remap the buttons, it would be a lot better. But as you can see, it just runs spot on. No issues whatsoever. So one of the main features I really do like with this A19, very similar to the Pandora boxes, is the fact that it has built-in games market. Whilst I don't condone anybody downloading games for free, to have this in a handheld, I think there's only the Retroid Pocket 2, which has the games market on it. It's just a fantastic feature to have. Obviously, the game, the A19 already comes with games installed on it, but you can literally go into the games market and download thousands upon thousands of other games. And it's for every emulator that's on there, and it covers absolutely everything. Very easy to do. Download speeds are slow depending on what you are going to download, but it covers everything. It covers the PSP, the N64, you've got your Mega Drive, you've got your MAME, you've got your Final Burn, your PlayStation games, Game Boy Color. It just covers every single emulator. You'll never run out of games to play or install on this machine. Just remember, some of them aren't going to work fantastic depending on what you download. Tekken 6, which I downloaded, played very poorly on this. It wasn't at all playable. So just remember that not all of the games that you download you will be able to play, but it's no big deal. You just delete it and you download something else. What I would say is the fact that this has the games market built into it is just, for me, would be an important factor when deciding whether to buy this handheld. It's got a fantastic screen, really good screen, and the games market. And to be fair, the majority of the emulators, it does run really, really well. So it is definitely a handheld that I wouldn't be disappointed in buying, and I bought it. But yeah, it's the games market is a deal breaker for me. It's just so handy to have. So I'm actually going to shut up now, and I'm going to play a few games so you can see the A19 running, and you can see how well it runs. So I'm going to go quiet now, and let's let you listen to the sound as well. So playing Tekken 6 on the PSP version, at first I thought it looked absolutely amazing on the screen. As you can see in the video, the introduction is fantastic. Unfortunately, when I actually got down to the actual gameplay, that's where I became very disappointed, as you will see. So as you can hear straight away, once you get into the actual gameplay part of it, the sound is very poor, very choppy. And that just gets worse as you start playing the game. Frames way too low for it to be for it to be playable. It's an absolute mess. Play this on the RG 351p. And the gameplay is very playable on it. So it just goes to show that difference in the amount of RAM that the A19 has. It does have quite a significant impact when playing 3D games. When it came to the Dreamcast, it played quite well. I didn't really see any issues compared to the PSP. I just really love how sharp and bright the image is on this 3.5 inch screen. I know I've mentioned it a couple of times now, but you really do have to have the A19 in your hand and be looking directly at the screen to see how good it is. I just hope it's showing it on this video. You won't be disappointed. The screen is just superb. I can't say anything more about it. It is absolutely superb. And as you can see, the Dreamcast game is running really, really well. No distortion. No breaking on the screen. The screen really is absolutely gorgeous. So there you have it, everyone. That's the A19. Would I buy it? Absolutely yes. Yes, it has a few flaws, but everything else totally makes up for it. If you want to buy the A19, you can grab it from Ploylab. Just follow the link below. They've got some great deals at the moment, and you won't be disappointed. Just remember, it's not as powerful as the likes of the RG 351p, but you can still have lots and lots of fun with it. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you soon. Bye!